The ground under your feet feels like the steadiest thing in the whole world. Solid rock going down and down forever. It is the one thing you can always count on to stay perfectly still. So it might surprise you to learn that this is not quite true. In fact, the ground is moving right now. To see why, we have to do something we can never really do. Cut the whole planet open and look inside. And inside, the Earth is layered, a little like a peach. Right at the top is the crust. That is the thin, cool, rocky skin we live on. And I do mean thin. Compared to the whole planet, the crust is thinner than the skin of an apple. Below it is the mantle, a truly enormous layer of rock so hot that it slowly flows, like thick, glowing honey. Deeper still is the outer core, of molten metal, and at the very center, a solid ball of metal hotter than the surface of the sun. So we do not live on a solid rock. We live on a thin skin, floating over a furnace. Now here is the wonderful part. That thin crust is not one single piece. It is cracked, like the shell of a boiled egg, into a few enormous pieces we call plates. And these plates are floating on the slowly churning mantle beneath. Remember how hot air rises and cool air sinks? The very same thing happens down here, but with rock. Hot rock rises, spreads out sideways, cools, and sinks again. And as it flows, it drags the plates along with it. Whole continents drifting. Slowly, yes. Only a few centimeters a year, about as fast as your fingernails grow. But they never, ever stop. So if the plates are always moving, then the most exciting places on Earth are the edges, where two of them meet. And there are three things that can happen. First, two plates can pull apart. And when they do, they leave a gap. And hot, melted rock from below comes rising up to fill it, cooling into brand new ground. That is one way we get volcanoes. Second, two plates can push together. And when two gigantic plates shove into each other, the ground has nowhere to go but up. It buckles and crumples and folds over millions of years, pushing up into mountains. Every great mountain range you have ever seen was made this way, by the slow, patient, unstoppable collision of the plates. And third, two plates can try to grind past each other, sideways, but they do not slide smoothly. They catch and stick, and the pressure builds and builds until suddenly they slip. And when they slip, the whole ground jerks and shakes. That is an earthquake. So volcanoes, mountains, earthquakes, almost every single one happens right at the edge where two plates meet. Not just anywhere. The map of the danger is the map of the cracks. So let's remember the great secret of the ground. Deep inside, the Earth is layered and mostly hot. We live on a thin crust that is cracked into plates. Those plates float and drift on the flowing mantle below. And where they meet, we get volcanoes, mountains, and earthquakes. The ground was never still. It has been slowly rearranging the whole face of the planet, this entire time. So the ground rises into mountains, and cracks and melts, and cools into new stone, which leads to a rather beautiful thought. If mountains can be pushed up, and lava can cool into fresh rock, then maybe rock is not the permanent, unchanging thing we imagine. Maybe even a stone has a kind of life, a slow story of being made and worn away and made again. Next time, we will follow the amazing life cycle of a rock. See you there.